a Diksha disciple of His Holiness Radha Govindadas Goswami Maharaj, who is a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, very well known for his classes on Srimad Bhagavatam. As a disciple, Amarendra Prabhu aspires to practice and preach the message of the scriptures far and wide as much as possible, and in this endeavor has traveled to many cities around the world, spreading Krishna consciousness in universities, temple congregations, and social platforms such as YouTube, WhatsApp, and Facebook. As part of his student preaching endeavors, he has also been part of many student conferences and has contributed in areas such as interfaith harmony and science and spiritual synthesis. Academically, Amarendra Prabhu is a master's in electrical engineering from the University of Massachusetts and spiritually holds a Bhakti Shastri degree from Mayapur. So on behalf of ISKCON Scarborough-Prabhu, we would like to warmly welcome you, and we will take questions through the chat forum in the last few minutes, and then we'll pass it along to you, Prabhu. Sure. And all our classes are recorded and posted on YouTube as well. Over to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu, for this kind invitation and kind introduction, and thank you for kindly having me here. My obeisances to all the devotees who are part of the management of the temple for kindly reaching out and kindly considering me for this Sunday feast service. My obeisances to all the wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis on the call who have taken their invaluable time out to be with us this morning for an hour or so. So before we begin, I would request all the devotees to kindly offer their prayers and blessings. May the right words come at the right time, in the right spirit of service to Sri Ramachandra. May this service bring satisfaction and pleasure to our ears, and may it cleanse our heart. That's the only purpose of our discussion today. May Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga, and Sri Sitaram be completely pleased and blissful with our mutual help of devotional service today. So as decorum on the call, I would request if devotees can kindly keep themselves on mute so that there's no interference with one another, because devotees are joining in to participate in Krishna Katha. So let us kindly check from our side if we are all on mute, because that is very helpful. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Ushakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So today we will hear a nice sweet pastime from the Aranyakanda of the Ramayana. As we all know, there are different sections in the Ramayana, starting with the Balkand. We have the Balkand.
No, 91 participants.
We have the Balkand, then we have the Ayodhya Kand, then we have the Aranyakand, then we have the Kishkinda Kand, then we have the Sundar Kand, then we have the Lanka or the Yuddha Kand, and then we have the Uttarakhand. So in this way, there are different sections in the Ramayana, and they all deal with different aspects of the pastime. So today we will hear a very short pastime, and we would say in many ways this pastime is less discussed, but it is found in the Aranyakanda of the Ramayana. Not many verses are spent to discuss this, but there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from this pastime. Sandrananda payoda saubhagatanum pitambaram sundaram pano bana sharasana katilasad tunira bharam varam rajivayata lochanam dhritajata jutena samshobhitam sita lakshmana samyutam pathigatam ramabhiramam bhaje. Very, very beautiful verse. The meaning of this verse is Sandrananda. Sri Ramachandra is Sandra Ananda. He is actually the form of condensed happiness. Anyone who hears about Sri Ramachandra, anyone who studies the Ramayana, anyone who glances on the deities of Sri Ram, anyone who speaks about Sri Ram and sings bhajans about Sri Ram and chants the holy names of Sri Ram, this person, he holds Sri Ram in his heart. And as a result, because Sri Ram is Sandra Ananda, he is the form of condensed bliss and joy. The person who is serving Sri Ram also becomes very, very blissful. So Sandra Ananda, that is the nature of Sri Ram. He is always in ecstatic bliss. So the closer we get to Sri Ram, the more we will inherit those qualities. And the farther we go away from Sri Ram, we will go away from these qualities. So if Sri Ram is Sandrananda, he is the abode of all joy. The closer we get to Sandrananda Swarup, Sri Ram, the faster we become happy. And the farther we go away from Sri Ram, who's Sandrananda, who's the abode of happiness, we will become miserable and frustrated in life. So everyone in the 7 billion human population, and for those in the lower species also, everyone is searching for happiness. But we search for happiness through gadgets. We search for happiness through relationships in this world. We search for happiness through achievements in this world. We search for happiness through some itching and gratification of the senses. We search for happiness through fame and glorification coming from others. But we have to convince ourselves of this eternal truth that only Sri Ram is Sandrananda. Only Sri Hari, Sri Krishna, Sri Ramachandra and Vishnu and Narasimha, the Vishnu Murtis are Sandrananda. So therefore, the closer we get to these forms, the closer we will become happy and ecstatic. So what is the form of Sri Ram? Payodha. Payas means water, and da means to dadati, to give. So his form is Payodha. It is like a rain cloud, always giving mercy and compassion and sweetness to everyone. Yet at the same time, Sri Ramachandra is compared to a cloud because of his complexion, because of his dark complexion. So Sandrananda Payodha Saubhagatanum. His tanu, his form is Saubhaga, very beautiful, very opulent, filled with bhagyam. And what type of clothing? Pitambaram Sundaram. He has a yellow dhoti like Sri Krishna and very beautiful. So the first line is Sandrananda Payoda Saubhagatanum Pitambaram Sundaram. So this verse from the Aranyakanda describes Sri Ramachandra in the Aranya, in the forest, during his Vanavas, during his forest exile. Sri Ramachandra is Sandrananda in his heart, and his complexion is Payoda, it's like a rain cloud, and Saubhagatanum, filled with so much opulence. And what kind of dhoti? Pitambaram Sundaram. Very beautiful yellow dhoti is what Sri Ramachandra is wearing. And next line is Pano. In his hands, what does he hold? Pano Bana Sharasanam Katilasat Tunnira Bharam Varam. In his hands, Pano. The word Pani in Sanskrit means hands. So when Krishna holds a chakra in his Pani, in his hand, he's called Chakra Pani. Gada Pani, Vrakodhara. So Krishna is called Gada, Vishnu is called Gada Pani, Chakra Pani, Shanka Pani, Shanka Pani Mukundaha, like that. So Pano in his hands, what does Sri Ramchandra hold? Bana and Shara, bow and arrow. And on his waist, there is a nice rope which goes around, carrying the quiver. Tunira means a quiver. Quiver is that equipment that Sri Ramchandra carries in which he keeps his arrows. So Pano Bana Sharasanam, in his hands he has his bow and arrow, and Kati, in his Kati on his waist, Lasat, in a very beautiful way, Tunira Bharam Varam. There is first class quiver which is heavy because of so many arrows. And how are the eyes of Sri Ram? Rajivayata Lochanam. His eyes are like blossoming lotus petals. And at the same time, how is his hair? How is his hair? Dhrita Jata Jutena Samshobhitam. Dhrita Jata, it's in the form of matted hair, because Sri Ramchandra is in the forest, he looks like a sadhu. He is in fact the abode of all saintly qualities. Rajivayata Lochanam Dhrita Jata Jutena Samshobhitam, and his hair is tied up in the form of matted hair. And is Sri Ramchandra walking on the forest alone? No. Sita Lakshmana Samyutam Pathigatam. He is walking from one place to another in the forest with Sita Devi on one side and Lakshmana on the other. Sita Lakshmana Samyutam, with Sita and Lakshmana, Mother Sita and Sri Lakshmana Samyutam, Sri Ramchandra along with them. Pathigatam, he is walking. Rama Abhiramam Bhaje, that most attractive, pleasing Sri Ram is whom I offer my obeisances. So in this way, very beautiful composition has been offered in the Aranyakanda of the Ramayana, glorifying Sri Ramachandra and Mother Sita and Lakshmana and their attire, and how beautiful Sri Ram externally and internally looks in his qualities and his appearance as Maryada Purushottam Sri Ramachandra. So the forest pastimes of Sri Ram are called as the Aranya Leela. Aranyam means where there is no Rana. Rana means fighting. Traditionally, in the forest, the sadhus would sit and they would not fight with anyone. Therefore, a forest is called Aranya, the place where there is no fighting. We know the battle is called Ranabhumi. Rana means to fight and Bhumi means that place. So Ranya is the spirit to fight. And that place where there is no Ranya, where there is no fighting, is called Aranya. In Sanskrit, you can add a prefix and you can negate the consonant. So Ranyam, Aranya. So Aranyakanda is that section where Sri Ram is through the forest. In fact, this has also been described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 11th canto, 5th chapter, there is a verse dedicated to Sri Ram and his Aranya Leela, his pastimes in the forest. How is that? And what is the description? In the 11th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, it has been mentioned. Tyaktva sudustyaja surepsita rajya lakshmim dharmishtha arya vachasa yadagad aranyam maya mrigam daita yepsita manvadhavat vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. It means Tyaktva sudustyaja. Ramchandra gave up something which is very, very difficult to give up. What is that? Rajya Lakshmi, the wealth of Ayodhya. And why did he do that? Dharmishtha Arya Vachasa. Because his Arya, his superior in the form of his father, instructed him. Dasharath Maharaj, through Kaikeyi Devi, of course, told him. And that was Dharma. That was Dharma, the right constitutional spiritual principle for Sri Ram, to listen to the words of his father. So Dharmishtha, because he was completely fixed in Dharma, Arya Vachasa, by the words of his father, Dasharath Maharaj, Yad Agad Aranyam, he went into the forest. And there, Maya Mrigam Daita Yepsita Manvadhavat, that golden deer which was very dear to the heart of Mother Sita, was chased by Sri Ram. Maya Mrigam, that illusory golden deer, which was Marich, Daitaya Ipsitam, which was desired by his Daita, his eternal consort, Mother Sita. Anvadhavat, he ran, so past tense has been used. Anvadhavat, Sri Ram ran towards that golden deer. Vande Mahapurushate Charanarvindam. I bow down to those lotus feet of this Mahapurusha, Sri Ramachandra. behind whom devotees run, and they're still not able to find him. How glorious is the heart of Sri Ram, that he's running behind those who really need mercy in the form of marriage. So this hint of the Aranya Leela, Yadagad Aranyam, has come even in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us, with this introduction for the next 45 minutes or so, hear a very sweet pastime, very instructive pastime, I would say, for all of us. It's a very small, short section. So the story is very short, but the lessons with the details are something which are very, very useful, very important, very essential to practice in real life. So let us begin. So the Ramayana describes that Sri Ramachandra in the forest would pick flowers to decorate Mother Sita and make flower bangles and flower ornaments for Mother Sita. He would personally spend time picking flowers and the right leaves and very sweet different shapes and colors and sizes of flowers to string them to make a garland to offer it to Mother Sita. And sometimes he would make bracelets for Mother Sita and anklets for Mother Sita and even earrings out of flower buds. So in this way, the Supreme Lord takes supreme pleasure in serving his supreme devotees. It has been described in other sections of even Radha Krishna Leela, where in the forests of Vrindavan, Krishna also would take turns and he would pick flowers himself to offer it to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, to decorate Srimati Radharani. This has been explained by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is a verse in the 4th chapter of Adi Leela, which describes Krishna serving Srimati Radharani. Also, there are sections where Raghunath Das Goswami has described how Srimati Radharani has so much pleasure in serving Krishna. She picks flowers and makes garlands for Krishna, but at the same time, Krishna takes so much pleasure in picking flowers and stringing them into a garland and offering it to Srimati Radharani. So similarly, we find even in the pastimes of Sitaram, Sri Sitarani and Maryada Purushottam Sri Ramachandra, where they take mutual pleasure in serving each other. This is the nature of the devotee. He wants to serve the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord takes supreme joy in serving his dear devotees. So at that time, when Sri Ramachandra is picking flowers and having very sweet pastimes with Mother Sita, the demigods are all offering flowers because they never get to see the lords of their life sporting so freely in the forest from one tree to another, picking one fruit, one flower, one leaf, and enjoying pastimes, human-like pastimes. Indra always sees the Apsaras and the Gandharvas and other Kinnaras, Kim Purushas, Yakshas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, etc., offering glorification to him. But Indra, being a great personality, also takes pleasure in seeing the glorification of the Supreme Lord, especially when Sita and Ram are not flocked by so much Aishwarya, but there's so much sweetness and spontaneous natural beauty and Madhurya. There is a spontaneous, intimate, sweet relation, human-like relation. However, as all of this is going on very sweetly, the forest pastimes of Sita and Ram are considered to be almost as sweet as the forest pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So many times devotees say that Chitrakoot is actually Gupta Vrindavan. It is like the Ram Leela expansion of Vrindavan. Just like in Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna have sweet pastimes. Of course, in Mathura, Krishna is killing demons. In Dwaraka, he's living in opulence. And then, of course, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna is as a teacher. But only in Vrindavan, Krishna is having very sweet pastimes. So similarly, Chitrakoot or the Aranya Leelas of Ram Chandra with Mother Sita for 13 years out of the 14-year exile are considered to be like the Vrindavan Leelas. As everyone is relishing these forest pastimes, because the forest pastimes of Sita and Ram are such that they attract humans, they attract the demigods, they attract the sages, the rishis who are living in the forest. You see the sages who have left their homes, they have left their palaces, they have left the big kingdoms, left everything, all their contacts and connections in this world, only to sit in the forest and meditate on the Lord. how blissful they will feel, that the perfection of their meditation is walking around from one forest to another, giving them not personal darshan, but giving them darshan of not just the form, but the pastimes. You see, we chant the holy name so that we have darshan of the form. Then from the form, when the form comes closer, we have perception of the qualities, the voice of the Lord, the fragrance of the body of the Lord, and the sound of the ankle bells of the Lord, etc. But then the qualities manifest their fullest blossomed feature in the pastimes, with other associates, with the right environment, with the right seasonal background, etc. So the sages who are in the forest, it is the perfection of their meditation that they are able to see Sita and Ram walk so freely in the forest, singing to each other. Please forgive me. It was actually the charger of my laptop. There's a saying that when you hear the pastimes of the Lord, you will get liberated. So the charger is actually put in the socket, but by hearing little pastime of Sri Ram, it has got liberated from its socket and it fell down. It's got free from all its bondage. Nonetheless, coming back to the story, so the sages, the humans, the demigods, and what to speak of the birds and the animals and the insects, they're all relishing very, very sweet darshan of the pastimes of Sita and Ram. As everything is wonderful, we know that no storyline is complete without a twist. If everything is just sweet, 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 how much sweetness can we have? So even in a meal, sometimes people prefer to have some spicy chili in the middle just so that it increases the appetite and the taste for relishing other tastes and flavors, and they can relish and savor other variety also. So even in the pastimes of the Lord, with every storyline which is very sweet, there will be some twist and turn which will increase the listener's appetite for more flavor. So as all of this is going on, the pastimes of Sita and Ram are going on in seclusion. It's very sweet and wonderful to observe. At that time, Indra's son, Jayanta, he desires to check the strength of the Lord. Jayanta has heard enough that Sri Ramachandra is Bhagavan. He is Indra's son. But still he has some doubt. He feels someone who is walking like this, with his wife in the forest, just singing and dancing and picking flowers and talking very sweetly to his wife. Jayanta is thinking, how can he be God? What kind of God is he? So he wanted to check the position of Sri Ramachandra's opulence. He wanted to see whether Sri Ramachandra is indeed the goddess, the supreme personality of Godhead, the supreme controller. So what did Jayanta do? He wanted to test the position of Sri Ram. It is almost like an ant who wants to check the depth of the ocean. It is almost like a sparrow who wants to understand how wide the sky is. It's almost like a person who wants to try to break a mountain with his head. These are all impossibilities. An ant will never be able to find how deep the ocean is. A sparrow will never be able to find how vast the sky is. A person can be very, very strong, but he will never be able to break a mountain on the power of the banging of his head. So similarly, it's not possible for anyone to find the position and the strength and the ultimate superior opulent position of the Supreme Lord. But Jayanta wanted to test. So what did he do? He became a crow. He disguised himself as a crow. And he came flying and he sat at the lotus feet of Mother Sita. In some editions, it is the lotus feet of Mother Sita. In some editions, it is the chest of Mother Sita. So nonetheless, Jayant, the son of Indra, he came in the form of a crow and he sat at the lotus feet of Mother Sita. And with his very sharp beak, he started pecking the lotus feet of Mother Sita. And as a result, what happened? Because of his very hard and blunt pecking, there was blood that started dripping and smearing from the lotus feet of Mother Sita. And Sri Ramachandra saw this. He saw that there is a crow sitting at the lotus feet of Mother Sita and with his beak trying to peck and harm. And as a result, there is blood dripping from her lotus feet. Mother Sita had a smile on her face. She did not say anything. But Sri Ramachandra could not tolerate. So we'll take a pause here, and before we proceed ahead in what's happening in the story, let's pause here and see some lessons that we can learn. This is the first introspective lesson that we can learn is Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shridhi Edamana Madapuman Naivarhati Abhidhatum Vai Twama Kinchana Gochanam. Queen Kunti has explained in her prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam that there are 4 kinds of people who get proud. And because of that pride, they get intoxicated. They feel that they are on top of the world, and now they can test. Now they can look down upon others, and they can show that I am superior and I can test you and you will be tested. What are the 4 characteristics, or what are the 4 slipping points of pride? The 4 slipping points of pride are Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shridhi. Janma means high birth. Aishwarya means wealth. Shruta means high learning, and Shri means beauty or any skill and talent that we can have. So one by one we will analyze, and we will see examples in Indra's family. We are not going outside Indra's family. In Indra's family, how these 4 slipping points of pride has been seen in the form of examples. First, we will see Indra himself. Indra is an example of someone who is Aishwaryavan, who is very, very wealthy. So what are the 4 causes of pride? We said very high birth, lot of wealth or richness, high learning, very intelligent, very educated. And the 4th is beauty or any skill. So let's see the first example, Indra himself. We find in the Govardhan Leela, Indra gets proud because of his position and his wealth as Devaraj, as being the king of all the demigods. And so much so that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it has been described that Indra could not even understand Krishna's position. He could not understand Krishna's position. Brahmaji, we find in the Brahma Vimohan Leela, sees Krishna sitting with his friends and not realizing that he is Bhagavan. It is the same Brahmaji who came from the lotus which sprung from the navel of Mahavishnu, and the source of Mahavishnu, Sri Krishna in Vrindavan playing with his friends. But that Brahmaji who said Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami Ishwaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Satchitananda Vigraha could not understand. Similarly, Indra in the Govardhan Leela we were mentioning, it has been described in the Bhagavatam. Vachalam, Balisham, Sthabdam, Ajnaha Panditamanina. Indra in his pride, he doesn't understand Krishna's position, and he says, Vachalam, this boy talks too much. He's too talkative. And Balisham, he's very childish. Sthabdam, he's very arrogant, doesn't bow down before anyone. Ajna, he's foolish. And still Panditamanina, still he considers himself to be a great Pandit. These are the words of pride coming from the lips of Indra himself towards Krishna. So this is an example in Indra's family of Indra himself falling to pride because of Aishwaryam, because of wealth. Now we will see an example of Shruta, learning. And that is Indra's own guru, Brihaspati. Indra's guru, Brihaspati, came in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leelas as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And he was a very, very, very great scholar. So much so that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who's an incarnation of Brihaspati, and Brihaspati is the guru of Indra. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes was the guru of the king of Jagannath Puri. The king of Jagannath Puri was Maharaj Prataparudra. And Maharaj Prataparudra's guru, Diksha Guru, being the guru of the king of Jagannath Puri. Can we imagine the position of such a great scholar? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya knew everything. He absolutely had studied everything. He had so much pride because of his learning that he gave Harikatha to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He spoke for 7 days to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the Vedanta. And at the end, he's asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you're not asking me any questions. Do you follow anything that I'm teaching you? Are you understanding everything because of which you have no questions? Or do you not understand anything because of which you don't have any questions? So either you will have questions if we have some clarification, we understood something, but there's something that we didn't understand. And if someone says, I don't have questions, that would mean either they know everything or they didn't understand anything. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was Brihaspati, this is the guru of Indra. Because of pride of learning, he went on taking on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later humbled Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And that's an interesting, different story altogether. So example of Aishwaryam, Indra himself in Govardhan Leela. Example of Shruti, learning, very erudite scholarship, encyclopedia-like learning, and pride because of that, is Indra's guru, Brihaspati, coming as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in Mahaprabhu's Leela. Third example, Shridhi, because of beauty or some talent and skill. That is Indra's own son. Who is that? Who is Indra's son in the Pandavas? Arjuna. Arjuna had pride. Arjuna had pride that, oh, well, I can look at the reflection and shoot at the eye of the moving fish and win the hand of Draupadi. I am so talented. I am Gandhiv Dhari. I am very powerful. I am more powerful than Karna. But what happened? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna used Arjuna as an instrument to teach us that if you think you can win battles in life on your own Gandhiva, then that is wrong. But you need Sri Krishna. However talented you are, you need Sri Krishna on your side to drive the chariot of life. So this is why in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we see Indra's own son, Arjuna, the Gandhiva is slipping from his hand. And then he takes shelter of Krishna. So these three examples we see, Indra, Indra's guru, and Indra's son. And the fourth example is Jayanta here, another son of Indra, who falls to pride because of Janma, the fourth. Janma is Jayanta, Aishwarya is Indra, Shruta is Indra's guru, and Shribhi, or because of beauty and skill and talent and ability, Arjuna himself. Although Arjuna is a pure Vaishnava, he's teaching by personal examples. So is all the examples here. So Janma, high birth. Jayanta, the son of Indra, had so much pride that, oh, I am actually the son of Indra. And I have high birth, I have wealth, I have learning, I have beauty, I have talent, I have everything. So much pride that he thought of testing Sri Ramchandra himself. Ramachandra is the origin of all talents. He is the origin of all Janma. He is the origin of all Aishwaryam. He is the origin of all Shruta, learning, or Shruti, and Shri. Mother Sita is Shri herself. She is Lakshmi Devi herself. But Jayanta, because of his pride, he became bewildered. So this is the first lesson we can learn, to be very, very careful of pride. Pride is like, even a drop of pride is like poison. All the nice, sweet rice of service that we can offer to Krishna becomes polluted by one drop of poisonous pride that we can have. When we think, I know, I understand, I am a Brahmana, I am very beautiful, I am very young, I am very talented, I am a good singer, I am a very good cook, I am an expert manager, I am very smart. All of this, by the influence of time, it will be crushed and powdered to pieces. We see when we get old, we can't even have the ability to pick a cup of water because of tremors in the hand. We forget, looking at our son and daughter because of Alzheimer's and dementia, we forget who they are. We are not able to hear properly, we are not able to see properly. So all the pride that we are proud of today, all the talent and ability will be taken by the influence of time. So always the safest position is to be humble, to understand that whatever I may possess, they are actually borrowed plumes of the Supreme Lord. You see, the peacock has plumes in the feather. They look like eyes, but they're not eyes. They look very beautiful in the form of feathers. So if we take some of those feathers of the peacock and we put it in our kurta and around, people may say, oh, this looks very nice, a very good design. But we must understand they are not our design. That plumes are coming from a peacock. So there is a saying, they are borrowed plumes. So whatever talents we may have, they're all like peacock feathers. They're all being taken from a peacock called Sri Krishna. We are taking it from God, and we are proud of those things that we possess. So now Jayanta takes the form of a crow, and he flies down to the lotus feet of Mother Sita. and he pecks on the feet of Mother Sita, and there is blood. So now on this section, let us meditate. Now, crow is a signifactor or a personification of a mentality. You see, the crow is not like a vulture or an eagle, Garuda. The vulture and the eagle, they fly very high. So therefore, they can dip down and they have pride that they fly the highest. But if you see the crow doesn't fly very high. But at the same time, its tastes are disgusting. It's only sitting on top of the tree, but at the same time, its eyes are always in a trash can. We will never find a crow in a nice flower garden, looking for honey in the center of a lotus flower, in the wall of a lotus flower. Bumblebees do that, but crows don't do that. The crows are always sitting on different branches of trees and always relishing trash, garbage. This is why Srimad Bhagavatam calls the crows or garbage as Vayasa Tirtham. Vayasa means crow and Tirtham means assembly. So anything that is disgusting and abominable and condemnable in this world is called Vayasa Tirtha. It is a place worthy only for the crows. So Jayanta took on a form of a crow, thinking that he could cheat the Lord, because crows are found everywhere. So he will just think this is one of them. But actually Jayanta is teaching all of us that the mentality to doubt the position of the Supreme Lord, the mentality to look down on others, and the mentality to cause harm to Mother Sita. Now, what does Mother Sita represent? She represents Mother Nature. So when people spit around, when people throw trash around, when people litter the whole place and dirty the whole place, this is actually Jayanta mentality of picking on the lotus feet of Mother Nature or Mother Earth in the form of Mother Sita. We have to understand Mother Sita represents Prakriti. Mother Sita represents Bhumi Devi. Mother Sita represents the energies of the Lord. Like, for example, in some room, the light is on. Even when there is no one, the light is on. The fan is on. Water is dripping down the tap. Electricity is being wasted. This is all Jayanta mentality. Why? Because all the electricity, all the energies that we see, they're all manifestation of Mother Sita. All the fruits, the flowers, the leaves, the resources that we see, the air to breathe, the land to live on, the grass, the flowers, the natural scenic beauty, they are all manifestation of Mother Sita. But when there is a mentality that I can do whatever I want, I can keep the light switched on, I can waste water. There are some people who bathe for 30-40 minutes. There are people in this world who don't have water to drink. And then there are people who bathe under a shower for 40 minutes. This is Jayanta mentality, saying that I will exploit Mother Sita. You see, the story of the Ramayana goes in one flow, but we as sadhakas should pause at intervals and take home lessons for our self-improvement. So Mother Sita doesn't just mean Mother Sita or Sri Ram. Sri Rama is the Supreme Lord. So his energy in the form of Prakriti, Bhumi, Apaha, Anala, Vayu, Kham, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the Bhumi that we live upon, the fire that we use is all Mother Sita. The vegetables, the fruits, the flowers is all Mother Sita. So when you pollute the water, people throw whatever they want in water. They pollute the environment by speaking gossip. You see, the environment is also Mother Sita. So when we speak gossip about others, when we criticize others, what we are actually doing is through our sound vibration, we are polluting the ether. This is Jayanta mentality of affecting and making Mother Prakriti or Mother Sita bleed. Mother Sita is so kind to give Jayanta a position at her lotus feet. The lotus feet of Mother Sita is actually the abode for great souls like Vibhishan and Sugriva and Hanuman and all of us. Our position is at the lotus feet of Mother Sita. And Jayanta has the position at the lotus feet of Mother Sita. And instead of taking shelter, he's picking there. So we are having water to drink, we are having water to bathe, we are having the air to breathe, we are having the land to stand upon, we are having the fruits and the vegetables to eat. This is all the lotus feet of Mother Sita, the position of comfort, so that we can take shelter of Sri Ram. But when we take all of that to exploit Mother Nature, who cares? I will pollute Mother Nature, I will destroy, I will dig through for oil, I will pollute water, I will waste water, I will waste electricity. This is Jayanta mentality. This is Jayanta mentality. So also this is lesson number 1. Now lesson number 2 that we can learn from this is, you see, Jayanta is exactly at the right place. All of our position is at the lotus feet of Mother Sita. We should be at the lotus feet of Mother Sita. Everyone should be at the lotus feet of Mother Sita if they want the position of Sri Ram's shelter. To take shelter of Sri Ram means to actually take shelter of Mother Sita. One should, through the Mother Sita, approach Sri Ram. In the Ramayana we see when Hanuman becomes the messenger of Sri Ram, and he goes to find Mother Sita. So now he has not met Mother Sita yet. So he is on Rama Paksha. Hanuman is on the side of Sri Ram, and he is going from one end, crossing over the ocean, flying over the ocean into Lanka. How many problems Hanuman had to face? He had to face Simhika, he had to face Surasa, he had to face the Mainaka mountain, he had to face Lankini. And then after all of this, the fight there. And then later his tail was set on fire. So when Hanuman went from Sri Ram's side, he had to face so many battles and so many demons, and ultimately his tail was set on fire. But when Hanuman met Mother Sita and now became Mother Sita's message carrier, his Mother Sita's order carrier, Mother Sita's messenger, and came towards Sri Ram, he didn't have any tail set on fire. There were no demons who attacked. There was no battles. On the other hand, when Hanuman came this side, he had the tight embrace of Sri Ram's lotus chest. So if we go from Sri Ram's side without the shelter of Mother Sita, even if you're Hanuman, your tail will be on fire. But if you take shelter of Mother Sita's lotus feet towards Sri Ram, then Sri Ram is waiting with open arms to embrace. This is why in the Venkateshwara Suprabhatam it has been mentioned, Ishanam Jagatosya Venkatapate Vishnu Param Prayasim Tad Vakshasthala Nitya Vasarasikam Tad Kshanti Samvardhinim Padmalankrita Pani Pallava Yugam Padmasanastham Shriyam Vatsalyadi Gunojwalam Bhagavati Vande Jaganmatara. That Mother Sita or Mother Lakshmi, they are Vatsalyadi Guna Ujwalam Bhagavatim Vande Jaganmatara. Her heart is bursting with compassion and motherly affection, and therefore she is the mother of the whole universe. She is the one who increases Vatsalyam even in the chest of Sri Ramchandra, in the heart of Mahavishnu also. So therefore, we all should take shelter of the lotus feet of Mother Sita. So what is Jayanta teaching us? Very important lesson. Jayanta is teaching us the place is important, but at the same time, the mood is also important. Hanuman took shelter of Mother Sita's lotus feet, so the place was right, that is the lotus feet. But the mood was also right of submission. Vibhishan took shelter of Mother Sita's lotus feet in the form of bhakti. So place was right and the mood was also right. But Jayanta, the place was right, but the mood was wrong. It doesn't work like that. Purification will take place, but after some delay, not immediate. It is important to be in the right place with the right people at the right time, no doubt. But the mood must also be right. The example for this is Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna heard it. That same Bhagavad Gita Sanjaya spoke and Dhritarashtra heard. But the transformation that took place in the heart of Arjuna was not the transformation that took place in the heart of Dhritarashtra. Why? Both heard the same Bhagavad Gita. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Sanjaya spoke Bhagavad Gita verse by verse. And Sanjaya is saying, sitting in the presence of Dhritarashtra, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. As I'm saying all this, my hair is standing on end and my tears are coming from my eyes in ecstatic love, thinking of this transcendental conversation between two friends. Arjuna felt purification in the heart, but Dhritarashtra did not feel anything. Why? He was at the right place at the right time with the right person, which is Sanjaya. But the mood was wrong. Arjuna was at the right place at the right time with the right person, Krishna, but the mood was also right. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhavat prichhami tvam dharma samuda cheta yachrayasya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. I am your shishya, you Krishna, you're my Gurudev. Whatever you tell me, I will follow. This is the right mood. Then it will work. Dhritarashtra did not have this mood. He was not hearing Bhagavad Gita for transformation of heart. He was hearing Bhagavad Gita only to know what happened to his sons. So Jayanta is teaching us, you could be at the right place, at the right time, with the right person. But if the mood is not right, you will not gain anything. Like Prabhupada one time lifted his cloth and showed a mosquito which was sitting on the forearm. So now the mosquito is sitting at the right place, at the right time, with the right person, Srila Prabhupada. The fortune that that mosquito had, even we don't have. We didn't sit with Srila Prabhupada at that place with him hearing Hari Katha. Prabhupada said, this mosquito is sitting with the right person at the right place at the right time, but the mood is wrong. It is not receiving. It is trying to suck and exploit. So this is what Jayanta is teaching. You could be at the right place, but if the mood is wrong, you're not going to gain. Now look at the compassion in Mother Sita's heart. Why did she start bleeding? Someone could say, well, this is human-like pastime, so therefore the blood came. No doubt. But we also know Mother Sita's form is transcendental. Transcendental means Satchitananda. And wherever the form is Satchitananda, there is no question of blood and bones and skin. Our body is, if you see, it's made out of blood and bones and skin and whatnot. But Mother Sita's body is Satchitananda Vigraha. It is made of condensed happiness. It is a transcendental spiritual form. Where is blood there? Same question could be asked for Jagai Madhai pastime. When Madhai hit the half-broken liquor pot on the head of Nityananda Prabhu, where did the blood come from? Nityananda Prabhu's body is transcendental. When Madhai hit the pot on the head of Nitai, where did the blood come from? Where did the blood come from? It is a transcendental form. How can the blood come in the body of this transcendental form? There is a very interesting Siddhanta here. Very interesting. Mother Sita at that point was thinking, how can I purify Jayanta? How can I purify Jayanta? If he pecks my feet and nothing happens to me, Ramchandra will not even glance on this crow. But if I show some blood symptoms on my feet, immediately Sri Ram will look at my feet. Because he has so much affection for Mother Sita. And as soon as he sees my feet and he sees drops of blood on my feet, his glance will fall on this crow. The glance will fall on this crow who needs mercy. So Mother Sita at this point was thinking, how do I save this crow? Same with Nityananda Prabhu. When Madhai hit that pot on the head of Nityananda Prabhu did not get hurt because it's a transcendental form. In fact, Nityananda Prabhu has Ananta Shesh on his head. He holds universes and that doesn't hurt him. So what can a pot do? But Nityananda Prabhu thought at that point, this Madhai, Jagai and Madhai, they need the glance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they will not go to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu must come to them. And for Mahaprabhu to come to them, something has happened, something should happen to me. If there is some blood on my head, devotees will go and tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Nitai is bleeding. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets to know this, he will come running here out of his affection for me. And when he comes here, he will glance at Jagai and Madhai. So even on hitting, Nitai was thinking only of good for Jagai and Madhai. Similarly, Mother Sita here, even on being pecked by a crow, was only thinking, Matah samasta jagatam madhukaitavare vaksho vihareni manohara divyamurte Shri Swamini Shrita Janapriyadana Shile Shri Venkatesha Daite Tavasu Prabhatam. Mother Sita is Matah samasta jagatam. She is the mother. Even if the child as an infant is kicking the mother is only thinking of breastfeeding the child and nourishing the child. That is all that the mother can think. So Mother Sita was thinking here, how can I uplift this crow? Even if he's pecking my feet, no problem. How can Sri Ram glance on this crow? He will glance on the crow when he glances at my feet. He will glance at my feet when there is some blood drops. So Nitai in Gaur Leela and Mother Sita in Ram Leela, they had drops of blood on Nitai in the forehead and Mother Sita on the feet, only to save the person who actually committed the offense. It is like a tree. When you throw stone at a tree, the tree doesn't throw stone at us. In fact, when the stone hits the fruit on the tree gives the mango. The person is throwing a stone, but the tree is only dropping a mango. So the tree gives its best fruit to someone who's throwing the worst stone. So similarly, here Mother Sita is teaching us, we should be like her. If we want the mercy of Sri Ram, we should be like that. This is the reason why Saraswati Thakur said, a devotee has to spend gallons and gallons of blood to get one person, to make one person a devotee. When our Gurudev, when our spiritual master speaks Harikatha and tolerates all of our mistakes, we must understand we are being like Jayanta. We are causing blood at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. But Sri Guru is very kind. He's only acting in ways so that Krishna can glance on us. So Mother Sita here represents Sadhu or Gurudev. We are represented by the hypocrisy of Jayanta, being a crow. And Ramachandra is Bhagavan here. So therefore, it is said, Guru has to spend gallons of blood. Mother Sita spent some drops of blood. Nitai spent some streams of blood. But Gurudev has to spend gallons of blood to uplift us. That's how much offense we create. Also, now going ahead, what Sri Ramchandra did was, he saw the lotus feet of Mother Sita and his heart melted. And immediately he thought, this tormenting crow, I have to punish. And what did Sri Ramchandra do? He has so many arrows in his quiver, but he took one grass piece. Sri Ramchandra took a piece of grass, a blade of grass, and strung that in on the strings of his bow and left that blade of grass behind the crow. Just imagine, a blade of grass was used by Sri Ram, strung on his bow as an arrow towards this crow Jayanta. Why a grass? Why is an arrow made out of grass? Now, so many interpretations could be made here. So many interpretations. The Supreme Lord does ye yatham mam prapadhyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. What that means is, how much we deserve, that much is how much the Supreme Lord will reciprocate. If we behave as fallen as a blade of grass, then that is what the Lord will use to reciprocate. This is point number one. Point number two, grass represents humility. So Sri Ramachandra is using a grass to tell Jayanta, you don't even deserve a proper arrow of Dasharath Nandan Sri Ram. I want you to become like this grass. When this grass chases you, you should understand that is how much you should chase the grass-like quality of humility. Always we see devotees say, holding a blade of grass between my teeth, I beg. Right? Even Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, when they were at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramakeli, it is described that they clasped a blade of grass between their teeth and they fell flat to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what does grass represent? Grass represents humility, because great souls, they would keep a blade of grass on the tongue or between the teeth to tell the Supreme Lord, my Lord, I am like an animal. I am a pashu. And what does the pashu eat after all? It eats grass. So that's why I have held grass in my teeth. Or another meaning, this life has been wasted. Therefore, next life I am going to become an animal. And next life I will eat grass. So why not I start practicing from this life? Third answer, my Lord, I am completely yours. You can punish me the way you want. I will not give any excuse. I have shut my mouth with a blade of grass. Whatever you want to punish, you can punish. I will not give any excuse. I will not open my mouth and give justifications. Fourth reason, grass is so insignificant. But I am more insignificant, therefore I can hold the insignificant grass in my mouth. That is how fallen I am. So Sri Ramachandra wants Jayanta to humble himself and become like a blade of grass. Trinad api sunichena taror api sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Sriman Mahaprabhu told us we should be as humble as a blade of grass. Only then, after we become humble as a blade of grass, only then we can constantly chant the holy name. This is one more reason why Sri Ramchandra used a grass. Another reason why Sri Ram used grass, Ambodhi sthalatam sthalam jaladitam dhuli lava shailatam shaila mritkanatam trinam kulishatam vajra trinakshiнаtam vahni shitalatam himam dahanatam ayati yasya chaya lila durlalitat bhuta vyasanine krishnaya tubhyam namah. Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Sri Krishna is so powerful that Ambodhi sthalatam, he can make ocean into land, and sthalam jaladitam, he can make land into ocean, and dhuli lavashailatam, he can make dust into mountains, and at the same time shaila mritkanatam, he can make mountains into dust, and trina kulishatam, he can make grass into thunderbolts, and vajra trinakshiнаtam, and when the thunderbolt becomes proud, Sri Krishna can make a thunderbolt into grass. Vahni shitalatam, Krishna can make fire as cold as ice. And himam dahanatam, Krishna can make snow as hot as flames of fire. Ayati yasyechaya, this is how powerful the Supreme Lord is. Leela dur lalita adbhuta vyasanine krishnaya tubhyam namaha. To that Supreme Lord I offer my obeisances. So here Ramachandra is showing his prabhav. He is showing, oh crow, you want to know my position? You look, I'm not even using an arrow as an arrow. I can take a grass and make it into an arrow for you. Just like you can be duplicitous, you Jayanta, you are actually the son of Indra, but you're acting like a crow, so there is some duplicity. So similarly, I can also be duplicitous. I can take a grass and make it into an arrow. So it looks like a grass, but it's actually an arrow. Just like you look like a crow, but you're actually Jayanta. So there also the Supreme Lord is reciprocating. And he shoots this arrow on his, he keeps it on his bow and strings it and sends it towards Jayanta. And at that time, what happens is Jayanta is chased by this grass arrow. In fact, there's one more interpretation that I feel inspired to share. Sri Ramachandra is teaching all of us, only those who are as humble as a blade of grass are used as my arrows. Who are the arrows of Sri Ram? His pure devotees, like Hanuman. When Hanuman jumped across the ocean, it has been described that Hanuman looked like an arrow of Sri Ram. Arrow of Sri Ram means one pointed, very sharp in intention, and going and hitting the target and not getting distracted. The arrow of Ram doesn't go like this. It goes straight and hits the target, and only then it comes back. So those are the pure servants of the Lord. They are like arrows. But who are used as arrows? Only those who are as humble as a blade of grass. So that's another teaching Sri Ramchandra is teaching us. Only those who are humble like a blade of grass will be used as instruments in my hand, or arrows in my hand. Now, as this grass arrow chases Jayanta, the crow is running everywhere for shelter. But with the crow wings, it is not able to fly so fast. So immediately the crow becomes original form, takes the original form of Jayanta. There's a lesson here also. When the Supreme Lord is being kind to us, we can be duplicitous. We can show different forms. But when the Supreme Lord has time, as Kala Shakti, as time factor, as an arrow chases us, as death, our original form comes out. We cannot hide in front of the Lord. Like how Putana, she came like a very beautiful gopi. But when Krishna squeezed her form, that's when the motherly form disappeared and her original demoniac form came out. Similarly, you find in the pastimes of Kaliya, Krishna entered the water and Kaliya acted as if nothing happened. But when Krishna started kicking and swimming in the water, That's when the original head of Kaliya came out. So similarly, we like Jayanta can act like a crow so that nobody I understands our true inner nature. But when death comes, when the arrow of Sri Ram comes in the form of death, our original inner nature will come out. We can act all of our lives like devotees, but at the time of pressing dire situation and emergency, our true original Krishna consciousness will come out. Just like when you squeeze a mango, what is inside is what will come out. Orange juice will not come out. Mango juice will come out. When you squeeze an orange, orange juice will come out. When you squeeze a mango, mango juice will come out. When something is squeezed, what is in is what will come out. So Sri Ramachandra, when through circumstances squeezes us, through time, through diseases, through death, through frustrating, irritating, provoking circumstances in life, what is inside is what is going to come out. Do we get passionate? Do we get aggressive? Do we get revengeful? Do we get agitated and angry? Or are we compassionate? Are we humble? Are we ready to offer all respects? So the crow was acting like a crow, but when the arrow started chasing, he took his original form. So that's the lesson that we can learn. And what did Jayanta do? He went all over the place for shelter. He went to Indra, he went to Brahma, he went to Shiva, but nobody could give shelter. When they asked, why are you running like this? He said, this is what I did. I wanted to check the strength of the Lord. It's very interesting. Those who are non-devotees, they want to see the prabhav of the Lord, the strength of the Lord, the influence of the Lord, the position of the Lord. The non-devotees want to see the prabhav, and the devotees want to see the swabhav. They want to see the heart, the compassion of the Lord. Those who are envious, they want to see the prabhav, the influence of the Lord, the power of the Lord. And those who are faithful, they want to see the swabhav, they want to see the nature. So when Indra got to know that his son has acted like this, Indra also did not give shelter. Brahmaji did not give shelter. Shivaji did not give shelter. Nobody gave shelter. Absolutely nobody. And this crow was running, Jayanta was running all over the place. And our Acharya's comment, Jayanta was running like Durvasa Muni was running when the Sudarshan Chakra was chasing him. But ultimately what happened in Durvasa's story is what happened in Jayanta's story also. Ambarish Maharaj, a pure Vaishnav, was the one who told Durvasa Muni, don't worry, I will give you shelter. I will give you shelter. In the form of course, Vishnu told Durvasa Muni, you take shelter of Ambarish. But when Ambarish gave shelter, Ambarish Maharaj gave shelter to Durvasa Muni, that's when the Sudarshan Chakra stopped. So a sadhu is needed to give shelter. So Jayanta is running all over the place for temporary shelters. He went to his own father, Indra. Nobody helped. Absolutely nothing helped. We as living beings, please understand, dear devotees, we as living beings, our situation is like Jayanta. We are running, sometimes becoming Brahma, sometimes becoming Indra. We are becoming animals. We are going to hell, again becoming human beings. The soul through different bodies is running for shelter. As the arrow of Sri Ram in the form of death, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi is chasing us. How can we find shelter and out of this problem? Only when Sri Guru comes in our life. Sri Guru comes in our life. You see, Paramatma is always there next to us, but we don't get liberated. Just like Sri Ramchandra was there, but Mother Sita got kidnapped anyway. But only when Hanuman went there to give the message of Sri Ram, that's when Mother Sita saw hope of being free from Ashok Vatika. So our position is like that. In this example, like Mother Sita, we may be, Paramatma Sri Ram may be there, but the Ravana of Maya is kidnapping us away. But only when the Hanuman of Guru comes in our life, the spiritual master comes in our life, that's when we can have shelter, and we can, the Sita of our consciousness can go back to Sri Ram, that is the Supreme Lord. So similarly here, Jayanta represents us. We are running all over the place for temporary happiness and shelter. But the arrow of Sri Ram in the form of death through lifetimes is chasing us. But only when a pure Vaishnava agrees to give us shelter, that is when we will come out of the heat of all problems. Ambarish Maharaj saved Durvasa Muni. Gurudev saves us. Similarly, in this pastime, Narad Muni saw that Jayanta is in a helpless situation. Nobody is ready to give him shelter. So Narad Muni gave shelter to Jayant and said, don't worry, never make this mistake again. Go and take shelter of Sri Ram and accept his shelter. Be at his lotus feet and worship the lotus feet of Sita and Ram as their eternal servant. And nobody, no arrow, no bow will touch you ever. So Jayanta, of course, had good intelligence. He understood and he approached. We find in the Govardhan Leela also same. Indra did not have shelter after the Govardhan Leela, but he took shelter of a Surabhi cow. And the Surabhi cow gave recommendation, and that's how Gopal Sri Krishna, Govinda, Nanda Nandan Sri Krishna gave shelter to Indra, because a Surabhi cow cried on behalf of Indra. So similarly, for Durvasa Muni, it was Ambarish Maharaj. Similarly, in this pastime, it is Narad Muni for Jayanta. And in our life, it is Gurudev. It is Sadhu Guru. So Jayanta went understanding the words of Narad Muni and took shelter of Sri Ram's lotus feet. And Sri Ramachandra, as we know, has taken a vrat. Sakrid eva prapannoyas tavasmiti sayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etat vratam mama. That whoever, wherever, whichever person, with whatever mood, they surrender and they say, Sri Ram, from today I am yours, I will give them shelter forever. These are the words of Sri Ram. So Jayanta went there and took shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Ram, and he said, my dear Lord, I have committed offense at your lotus feet. Now I have got some intelligence by the mercy of my Gurudev Narada Muni. Please kindly accept me. So actually Sri Ramchandra should have killed Jayanta, but he's so kind. He accepted Jayanta. And as punishment, he took one eye off of Jayanta. And this is why even till this very day, when you see crows, you can't in one photographic shot see both their eyes. When the crows sit on the edge of the window, when you see them, it always looks as if they have only one eye. It looks as if they have only one eye. When you look from here, it looks as if they're looking like this. But when you look from them, it looks as if they're looking like this. The crow will never come like this in front of the camera. It's always one side. So this is dating back to that story. It is believed that Sri Ram took one eye off of the crow called Jayanta. What does that show? That shows the compassion of the Lord. Where we would have been killed, if we take shelter of Sri Ram, we may lose only a finger. Instead of losing our neck, losing our head, we will end up losing only the tip of our fingernail. This is how much the Supreme Lord will reduce our karmic influence. Also, this represents when we cause harm to those who are dear to Sri Ram in the form of Mother Sita and pure Vaishnavas. We are ideally supposed to lose our Krishna consciousness because of Vaishnava Prad. But if we repent, we take shelter of the Lord and regret for our past, the Lord will not kill our Krishna consciousness. But little suffering may be there. Instead of losing whole life, just one eye may be lost. Now, eye being lost here also means change of vision. Change of vision. Sri Ramchandra changed the vision of Jayanta. Jayanta saw Mother Sita's lotus feet to peck on. Jayanta saw Sri Ram as a mere mortal. But what did Ram do? He performed cataract surgery and took that covering of pride away in the form of one eye. And he changed his vision and purified him. Purified him. One time, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he asked Srila Prabhupada, what if we are very lusty? What if our eyes go in all directions? What will happen to us? Prabhupada said, next life, Krishna will take your eyes off and make you blind. So this is also a lesson that we can see. When Jayanta is through this pastime, Sri Ramachandra is teaching us, when we have the mentality of Jayanta to look at the wives of other men with the desire to cause harm or to enjoy, then we will lose our vision, spiritual vision, and next life even material vision. We will be born blind. If we have lusty inclination towards the wives of other men, if we misuse the power of our sight, Krishna will take it away. So here Krishna is teaching us. Jayanta, he didn't look at Mother Sita properly. Therefore, Sri Ram took that eye off and purified him. So in this way, through this pastime, we should understand we are all like crows, but we should take shelter of Sri Ram. Then we also have hope, but under the guidance of a great soul like Narada Muni. In that same Ramayana, we can see an example of another great crow who became the speaker of Ram Katha, that is Kaka Bushundi. Kaka Bushundi is a very famous associate of Sri Ram. He is in a crow body, just like Jatayu is in a vulture body, and Garuda is in an eagle body, and Gajendra is in an elephant body, and Hanuman is in a monkey body. Similarly, Kaka Bushundi is a Rama Bhakta. It is believed he speaks Ram Katha, and even Garuda sits and listens as a student. So this shows us, if we take shelter of Sri Ram, we can go from one crow to another crow. We will overcome the crow-like mentality of Jayanta, and we will happily accept the crow-like service of Kaka Bushundi, of speaking Harikatha. And although we may be crow-like, you see, through this personal Sunday feast example, you can see, I am like a crow. All of you are like Garuda, but you are so humble that you are sitting and listening at the feet of a crow. I am a crow. I am Kaka Bushundi like crow. Actually, I am Jayanta like crow. But by the mercy of our Guru Parampara, who are like Narada Muni, we have got this service of sit and speak about Sri Ram like Kaka Bushundi. But all of you must know you are like Garuda. All of you are very humble, and I am like a crow. So through this pastime, I pray to all of you, please kindly bless me. May I overcome the Jayanta crow-like mentality and happily lifetime after lifetime adopt the Kaka Bushundi like crow of service, of constantly singing and speaking the glories of Sri Ramachandra. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, fantastic class Prabhu. Thank you so much. We've had close to 100 devotees at some point, and there's so much of value to be harvested here. And in Toronto especially, we're all drenched in rain, at least outside there's so much of rain, but today we were drenched in the rain of jubilation, hearing about Lord Ram, and it sets us up nicely for 21st of April, which is Ramanavami. And this treasure trove of information that you had given us, Prabhu, we will all grow with this, with so much lessons to be learned about Jayanta mentality, and mood is important, not just the place, and so much more. So there are many hands that have gone up, Prabhu. So I'm just going to, if with your kind permission, I'm just going to pick maybe a couple of devotees to maybe directly ask you a question. Will that be okay,
Sure.
Prabhu?
Sure.
Okay, Prabhu. So
my request would be maybe you can prioritize your community.
Yes.
Because then people who are joining from out of place, they can ask in other forums also. But those who are from your community, this service is exclusively at the lotus feet of all the local devotees. So it shouldn't happen that others get a chance and those from your temple community don't get a chance.
Okay, that's a great thinking, Prabhu. So I'm not sure from the name sometimes whether they've changed the name or not, but I'm going to pick Ravi Sharma. Prabhu, would you be kind enough to mute yourself and ask the question directly? Ravi Sharma.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
First of all, it was a fantastic day, Prabhuji, from morning to now at night listening Ram Katha from you. I had a question about, like I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and you have also said that the in Krishna Lila all the parikars are, their positions are. It means that we cannot take that position. We can only we can only become their das sabhav. Like we cannot do anukaran but anusharan. So that I thought that how can if you have said, and it's a fact that Nand Maharaj and Yashoda ji are the eternal parents of Shri Krishna. So how Brahma ji can give some boon to Drona and Dhara, that is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, to be born as parents of Shri Krishna? That I could not understand. If you can make it a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, so we have to understand that Srimad Bhagavatam, this has been explained by Shivaram Maharaj in his Damodar Janani book. that the eternal parents are Nanda and Yashoda, and the accepted parents are Devaki and Vasudev. So Devaki and Vasudev are actually sadhana siddha. They get the position of parents through service for lifetimes. But Nanda and Yashoda are eternal parents. But if you just say eternal parents, we don't get the actual importance. Therefore, Shukadev Goswami says actually they were Drona and Dhara, and they have performed so much bhajan, so that we understand that it is not that Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba just happened to be fortunate. No, but they actually gained their position. This is to show like that. Even when they appear in this world, they have in different days of Brahmaji, although they are eternal parents, out of their humility to set example to others through different days of Brahma, they have also done bhajan to set example. And they have accepted Brahmaji, the creator of this universe, as the Lord, and taken his blessings and then moved ahead. They have taken out of humility, but actually they are eternal parents. So their eternal position as Nanda and Yashoda is also mentioned. Yet at the same time, when during different days of Brahma, they appear here and to set example to others when they do bhajan, accepting Brahmaji's position. Although they are superior, just like sometimes we see the father is way superior to the child, but still the father will hold the child on his shoulder and walk around as if the child is superior to him. This is the love that the father is showing out of his humility for the child. So similarly, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, to set example, they may come as Drona and Dhara. And although they are superior to Brahma, out of their humility, to show Brahmaji enough position because he has appeared from the navel of the Lord, they will accept him as the Lord and take blessings from him. Brahmaji cannot give blessings, but Nanda and Yashoda can take out of their humility.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we'll take one more question, Prabhu. Again, I'm going by some of the names that I think could be from our congregation, but it may not be. We'll take a question from Amar Jyoti Das. If you can. Yeah.
হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রভুজি।
Hare Krishna.
আমার একটা প্রশ্ন আছে। As you told about Jagai Madhai story, that Nitai did a kripa on Jagai Madhai and they afflicted. And so my question is that, Prabhuji, that only because of Duryodhan, lots of lives have gone, and their children, their wives got affected. The whole Mahabharata happened only because of this person. So Swayam Krishna was there. So why his heart not melted after seeing Krishna, after having everyone, our Pitamaha Bhishma and all our many big scholars? So that is my question.
This is a very interesting lesson that we all can learn, that even if Krishna appears in front of us, if we don't have love for him, if we don't have Krishna prem, it will not make much sense. Like, for example, Ravana also saw Ramachandra. Shishupal and Kamsa also saw Krishna, like Duryodhan also saw Krishna. And Prakashananda Saraswati also saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Many of the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, when they appear in this world, like Hiranyakashipu, he saw Narasimhadev and he was thinking, out of Brahma's creations, which species is this? That same Lord who is described in Shastra so brilliantly. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmana adrishya tatyad bhutarupam udvahan stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham vagisha yasya vadane lakshmir yasya cha vakshasi yasyaste hridaye samvittam nrisimham aham bhaje. Nrisimhadev has been described, Ramachandra has been described, Krishna has been described, and Mahaprabhu has been described and glorified. But still, if we have our eyes tainted with desire to enjoy this world, even if Krishna is present, we will not gain much. But on the other hand, if we have love for him, then when Krishna appears in front of us, we can actually see his beauty. Like, for example, the more the love, the more the beauty of Krishna is perceived. The trees have love, but more than that, the friends have love. More than that, Mother Yashoda has love. So Mother Yashoda can see Krishna's beauty more than the friends or the trees because of presence of more love for Krishna. So in our life, we are not searching for Krishna, because even if Krishna appears in front of us now, we will not be able to gain much because there is lack of love. So the ultimate objective of our life is not to see Krishna. It is not Krishna, but it is Krishna Prem. If we get Krishna Prem, if we get love for Krishna, then when we see him, we can appreciate the beauty and change of heart. And when we, even if he is not present in front of us, if we have Prem, then that will pull him to appear in front of us. This is very, very important. So we are not looking for darshan of Krishna. Krishna may appear in front of us. We may not even recognize. But if we have Prem for Krishna, then Krishna will appear there on the power of that Prem. Advaita Acharya had Prem, so Mahaprabhu appeared. Gajendra had Prem, so Mahaprabhu, Krishna appeared. Shabari had Prem, so Ramachandra appeared. Draupadi had Prem, so Krishna appeared in the Kuru Sabha. So it is not darshan through the eyes, it is the darshan of the heart. This is why Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. The sages, the sadhus, they see Krishna Dhyanavastit Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina. This has been said so many times in Shastra, that the true seeing of Krishna is in the heart, not through the eye. It is Prema Anjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. It is through Prem, it is through love in the heart, which Duryodhana did not have.
Beautiful, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So maybe we'll wrap it up with one question, if it's okay, Prabhu. This is, you mentioned it beautifully about, Jayanta is in the right place, but, the mood is wrong or not right. And we know that. And also in the beautiful example that you said about mosquito on Srila Prabhupada. And how do we draw this to, the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he's going to the South Indian Yatra, where his servant Kala Krishnadas is there. He's serving the Lord all the time, but then he goes to Kerala, and then the Bhattataris, actually the women, drag him away. So how do we, connect that pastime to this? Is it similar? Is it slightly different?
Yeah, that actually shows the fear or the great danger of familiarity. Ati parichayad avajna. Malaye bhilla purandri chandana taru kashtam indanam chakurute. When a tribal lady sits on the top of a mountain and she feels very cold, she is surrounded by sandalwood trees. So she doesn't think twice before cutting down sandalwood tree wood and making a bonfire. Someone who doesn't have sandalwood will value every piece of sandalwood. And here is a lady, she's filled with sandalwood trees all over. So she cuts the wood and makes a bonfire. So this is to show the very great danger and risk of the quality of familiarity. Sometimes when something is given to us very easily, we lose value for it if it's given to us very easily and for a long time. This is what happened with Mahaprabhu's servant. He had the Supreme Lord, Radha and Krishna, as his personal master. So for him, Guru, Gauranga, Radha, Krishna, all were in one form. But it was given so easily and for such a long time that he felt, well, people are saying all that, but it doesn't matter. I can go here, there, everywhere, and then come back without realizing what he had actually received. So there is a saying that only when there is night, we realize the importance of the sunlight. When we go through a tunnel, we realize the importance of light. When we go through blindness, we realize the importance of light. Only when there is abhav, when there is a lack of something, we realize the importance of what we actually have. We have to go through a whole night of darkness to realize the beauty of the sunshine. But if someone's just in the sunshine, they will take it for granted. So it is important to be at the right place, at the right time, with the right person, in the right mood of gratitude that I don't deserve what I'm getting. And Krishna, may I take the best use of whatever I'm getting. And every day we have to tell ourselves, I didn't earn this fortune. I was just blessed with this fortune. It is not a birthright. It is a privilege that you have offered it to me. So this humility and gratitude is very, very important.
Beautifully answered, Prabhu. So we're so grateful to you for this wonderful class today, and so many lessons to be learned. Because one is hearing the katha and the pastime, but again drawing the lessons to be learned and internalizing those with beautiful explanations. So we are very, very thankful and we are grateful to you. Prabhu, and we hope that you can join us once again when you have time. I know you're, giving classes everywhere, and you saw the turnout, and we turnout especially from India as well today. So we are thankful to all the devotees as well who were able to join today, and we hope to have you soon, Prabhu, again for another wonderful class. And again, on behalf of all the devotees who were able to join today, we would like to thank you again by chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila
Thank you.
Prabhupada ki
Yes,
jai.
ma'am.